Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Anniken and I live in the southwest of England where I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops both in person and online, and I sell beautiful yarn online. You can find all the details about me on my website yarnaddict.co.uk, and I'll pop all the links below this video as well. So welcome to today's video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please leave me a comment. So recently I've been seeing a ad on social media, particularly on Instagram, about the new Knit Pro Mindful collection. And I must admit I did like a massive eye roll, because the whole thing with knitting and mindfulness is getting a little bit tiring. I just get a little bit every time I hear the knitting and mindfulness connection. But a few days ago I had the new Knit Pro catalogue sent to me. I have a Knit Pro wholesale account with one of the Knit Pro distributors, and they sent me their 2022-23 catalogue, which is always good fun to look through. And then there was a separate catalogue for the Mindful collection. So I sat down and looked at this catalogue yesterday and I thought, let's try some of these products. I may actually get some of them for my store at Yarndale and then to sell on my website afterwards in the run up to Christmas. Yarndale is in Yorkshire at the end of September. So the Mindful collection is a collection of knitting needles. There are also some accessories like bags, row counters, tape measures, the knit blockers, which you will have seen if you those knit blockers, you will have seen those if you watch any of my blocking videos. I use them quite a lot. It's all got very nice branding, so there's loads of accessories as well, and they do different needle sets as well, and the branding is very attractive. We'll take a look at the catalogue later, but the box just arrived, so I ordered this on Friday afternoon. I probably emailed my distributor like late morning or something. They sent me a reply back and the stuff was shipped yesterday and it was delivered today, and it's just arrived. So I thought, I got the box here, I thought I would open it and give you my initial views on these products. So the main thing that made me look at this catalogue again, because it came about a week ago or so, and I looked at it and I was a bit like, yeah, it looks pretty, but I don't know. And then a few days ago on Instagram, one of the yarn shops where I have taught quite a lot in the past, one of their owners, I think it was, actually posted about the needles and how nice they were. So I thought, oh, maybe I should look again. So I had a look at the catalogue and thought, let's order a few things and see what they're like. So the first thing in this box is actually not from the Mindful collection, but I decided I wanted some new sock blockers. I do have several sock blockers, but my biggest pair that fit the socks that I knit for me are, I've lost one, so I've only got one, and the other ones I got are smaller. So I haven't had any new sock blockers for a while, and Knit Pro do sock blockers in a range, small, medium and large. Large is 41, size, European size 41 and above. 41, I think that's probably UK size 7, because I'm a size 8, which I think is 42 in Europe. So that's what the sock blockers look like. Do you really need to block socks? Not really. They kind of get blocked when they're on your feet. I only block socks if they're for a magazine or if I'm giving them as a gift, because it does make them look a bit nicer. But I do like these to put socks on, to photograph them and also show them off when I talk about them here on YouTube. So I wanted some, well, I didn't need sock blockers, but I wanted some sock blockers, so I got these. Let's put these over here out of the way. And then this distributor also always includes a little bag of Haribo sweets. And then I got, okay, that's this cable for my interchangeable needle. So I ordered one fixed circular needle and one interchangeable needle tip and cable. So that's the interchangeable needle tip, that's the cable. I ordered a 4mm to make a 80cm long needle, and then I also ordered a 4mm 8cm long fixed circular needle. I probably should have got different sizes. The 4mm is what I use the most, so I'll put those aside. I will try those and do like a full review of the needles, like I've done with several other knitting needles. I do already have a full review of the Knit Pro needle brand. One Knit Pro video I reviewed their Symphony circular needles, carbon circular needles, zinc circular needles, and smart sticks circular needles, I think. Oh, and the wooden cubics ones. So I do have a video reviewing those. I do also have videos reviewing circular needles from Lica, Chow Prim Ergonomic circular needles, and Haya. So go and check out my YouTube channel. I will leave the link to those below. So I'm going to try those needles. I'm excited to try them and see what they're like. And then I got some scissors. So they come in this little pouch, which I'll probably use for something else because I don't think I need to store my scissors in here. But all the items seem to come in little pouches. Prices are quite reasonable. I only know the wholesale prices. I need to look up what the retail prices are, but these are like rainbow scissors. They fold down like that, so it makes them safe for travel. You can pop them in your knitting bag without you cutting your knitting, and it comes in this attractive little pouch. I do like the pouch. It is very, I must admit, the branding of this stuff is very attractive. And then we have another little bag. So this is the row counter. Now the row counter comes packed in a little thing like that. I tried a Knit Pro row counter years ago, pink one, and it was really rubbish. Actually, I didn't try it. A friend of mine bought it, and I advised her to take it back, but that was when they very first launched them. I normally use the clover ones. I love the clover ones, so we'll see how much I like this one. So you click here, and then you can reset it using these dials on the side. There doesn't seem to be anywhere you can lock them, which you can with the clover ones. I'm not sure if I like that because I do use the locking mechanism a lot. My initial reaction is that it feels a little bit cheap. Doesn't quite feel like the clover ones, but it is very attractive. So I will try those in my next project and let you know what I think. I'll pop that back in this little bag. So everything comes in this little pouch, which of course you can reuse for other things. So if you order several of the notions, you can just use one pouch for your notions and then use the other pouches for something else, because they're nice pouches. Like this one is quite a thick fabric. I definitely will be using these notions for something. Now this I can't remember what it was, but it's another little bag. Oh, it's a tape measure. So I'm a bit short of tape measures lately, and I was thinking I must get another tape measure. So this is quite heavy, quite thick, quite solid. Right, I have a other tape measure here, which is just the standard one that I got in the yarn shop. It's thicker, this one's thicker, and it is bigger, and it is a lot heavier. It's quite heavy. I'm quite surprised actually. Pull it out, and then it's got a thing there to pull it back in again. I would say pressing that button is a little bit difficult, but it's very pretty. It says Knit Pro, has the Mindful Collection logo thing. It's wooden, I think. Very attractive, but it is quite heavy. And again, it comes in one of these little cotton bags. I'm very impressed with these bags. They are very nice. They have this kind of thing on the front. Can't think what they're called now. Then it says the Mindful Collection on the back. So I'm going to try these products. I'm going to try the needles. I'm going to try the other products I bought, and then I will come back in a few days and let you know what I think. I have given these Knit Pro needles a bit of a go, and I've also tried some of the other products in the range. First, I want to just talk about the row counter quickly, because I've just been using it in a project and I want to pop it back in my project bag so I don't lose it. One of the things I said when I first opened it was that I didn't think it was lockable. I normally use the Clover row counters, they're green ones, and they are lockable. And I didn't think this was lockable, but I realized it is. So at the bottom here, it's not that easy to see because it's clear, but there is like a ridged thing here that you can just slide. Hang on, it's set on 2, and then you can click it, and then you can lock it. So it is lockable. I didn't think it was. I'm very pleased it is lockable. I'm just going to set it back to where it was on my project because I'm using it on a project. I was using it yesterday on this particular project and I do like it. It's smaller than the Clover one that I normally use. The only thing I don't like on it is that I sometimes find the display a little bit difficult to see. When I'm knitting, I tend to put my row counter on the armrest of my chair so I can just glance over at it, and sometimes I was finding it a bit difficult to see. Sometimes I put it in my lap. I sometimes found I had to like pick it up to look at it because the display where the number is smaller than on the Clover ones. So I don't think I'll replace all my Clover ones for this one, but this one is quite nice and I think it is slightly cheaper than the Clover one, and it is a lot better than the original row counter that Knit Pro brought out. A few years ago a friend of mine bought a Knit Pro row counter. It was a pink one. It was one of their very first brought out row counters, I think, and it was so stiff and awful that she actually took it back. Even I struggled to use it, and compared to the Clover ones it was just really rubbish. So I've kind of stuck with Clover since then. So I was a little bit interested to try this one, and this one is a lot better. It looks like Knit Pro's regular row counter is different from the one that they originally had, so it might be a lot better now because we're talking quite a few years ago. But this one is really nice. I really like it. It's nice and small. It's pretty, so yeah, I do like it. I was also looking at the prices of this range of the needles compared to some of the other Knit Pro needles, and the prices seem to be similar to that of the Zings and Smart Sticks, which are their other stainless steel needles, and they do seem to be cheaper than their carbon needles, which is the black carbon fiber ones. If you're interested in my views on the other Knit Pro needles, I have another video where I review the Symphony ones, which are the wooden ones, the carbons, and the Zings, and which are the colourful metal ones, and probably the Smart Sticks as well, I can't remember. Oh, and the Cubics wooden ones. So I'll link that video below this video, and I'll link it on the final at the end as well, on the last screen. So you can, if you haven't seen that video, do check it out. I'll also link all my knitting needle reviews. I have a playlist. I'll link that on the final kind of screen as well. So let's talk about these knitting needles. So I have been using both the interchangeable one, which is this one, and the regular one, the fixed one. Now I did buy the same size in both of them, which was probably a little bit foolish. The main project I'm working on at the moment is using a 4.5mm needle, and this is a 4mm needle. But I am working on a project in here which used a 4mm needle. So yesterday I grabbed that project and changed it to one of these, and then I swapped it for the other one. I also used one of these to knit some swatches for a tutorial. So I have used both of them a little bit. I haven't used them a lot, obviously, because I've only had them for a few days, but I have used them a bit and I like them. They are fairly pointy. They feel like they're pointier than the Zing ones. I haven't actually got my Zings out to compare them, but they feel quite pointy. I would say they probably compare to the Chogoos. Now the cables come in like swivel cables, where the needle tip kind of moves. If I twist that around, it's not making the cable move, whereas on this one, which is not a swivel tip, if I try and twist that around, you can see the whole cable moves. So I think the cables, I think they come in a choice of swivel and non-swivel cables. Let me just have a quick look and see if I can find it in their catalogue. The changeable set comes in a choice of swivel cables and fixed cables. So if you buy the interchangeable cables, do check that you're buying what you want. If you want the swivel one or the fixed one, do make sure you're buying the right one. Apparently you can, it says that the Mindful Collection cables will work with all Nipro needles. So if you already have a lot of Nipro interchangeable needles and you like the needles, but you fancy these cables, you can buy these cables separately and they should work with all your existing Nipro needle tips. Now, the best thing about these cables is, can you see, they are not kinky. So they have the memory-free cables that ChiaoGoo has. Now, ChiaoGoo is regarded by very many people as kind of like the gold standard, I would say, in knitting, circular knitting needles. A lot of people really like the ChiaoGoo ones because the cables don't kink. And these don't either. And these are a lot cheaper than the ChiaoGoo ones. I already have a lot of ChiaoGoo needles, so I'm not going to replace all my ChiaoGoo needles for these. But these are a very good alternative to the ChiaoGoo needles, and they are considerably cheaper. I like these cables, interchangeable cables. Now the difference between the fixed ones and interchangeable ones is interesting. Hang on, let me not get them tangled up. So again, the fixed needle has this memory-free cable, so it doesn't kink. And I store mine twisted up like that. So since I've had them, they've been stored like that, and I can undo them and they are straight. So I like that. The cable on the fixed circle needle is thicker than the interchangeable one. So I don't know whether you probably can't, no, you probably can't see it. But looking at it, I can tell that the cable on the fixed circular is thicker than the interchangeable circular. And it's less flexible than the interchangeable circular. I really like the cable on the interchangeable circular. I'm not so keen on the cable on the fixed circular. So I don't think I'm going to buy any more fixed circular needles from this collection. But I think I will buy some more interchangeable ones because I really like interchangeable ones. I don't need any more needles. I have loads, but I'm very tempted. On the needle it says Nipro. And then it has the size printed on it in millimeter sizes and US sizes. I don't know. Feels like they're printed on rather than etched into it. So I don't know whether they're going to rub off. On a lot of my other Nipro needles, they have rubbed off. On the Symphony, they're certainly rubbed off. Don't think they're rubbed off on the Zing, the metal ones, but I'm not sure because I don't use them as often. But I'm hoping it won't rub off. They also have this thing on their needle tips. It's printed into the needle tip. This one says Dream. I think my other one says Dream as well. Yeah, that one says Dream as well. And some of the other ones say things like Awake, Serene. Hang on. Grace. So Grace, Awake, Serene, Dream. Mindful words imprinted on each needle encourage knitters to focus on the moment. Okay, so major eye roll here. So I find the whole mindful collection thing a little bit of a cliche. The whole thing that knitting is like the new yoga, knitting is meditation. Yes, knitting can be very calming and relaxing, and it can be a bit like meditation. But it's kind of been, I don't know, it just feels like a cliche, and I'm just, to me, it just feels like a big marketing gimmick, quite frankly. I think the needles feel really nice, and I quite enjoyed knitting with them. I think that would make me buy them rather than the whole branding. But the branding is very attractive. I will, oh, some of the needles also say Believe. So it's Awaken, Believe, Exhale, Dream. What's the other ones? Awake, Dream, Serene, Peace. Loads of different things. I don't know whether certain sizes say certain things or whether it's just random. I have no idea. But they do straight needles, circular needles, fixed and interchangeable ones, and double pointed needles. You can buy the interchangeable needles as a set, and you can buy them separately. So you can buy the needle tips and the cables separately. So if you fancy trying these cables, but you already have a lot of the needle tips and you don't want to buy new needle tips, or you prefer wooden ones, then you can get these cables and put them onto your current needles, especially if you like the color. So yeah, really impressed with them. They are very nice. I will show you a few of the things from the brochure, because there are a few sets available. So let me just find some. There are some really nice accessories with this set as well. So they have something called the Grateful set. Is double pointed needles, 15 centimeters. And then it also, so it's this set here. It comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sizes of double pointed needles, and then it also comes with a needle gauge, darning needles, locking stitch markers, split ring stitch markers, round stitch markers, and a fabric case. So, you know, it's quite nice. And then they have this thing called the Explore set there, which comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 needle sizes from 2mm to 6mm, and a needle gauge, darning needles, locking stitch markers, split stitch markers, round stitch markers, and the scissors, and a case. And then there's a kindness set, which is this one, which comes with needles in one from 3mm to 6mm, and 2 swivel cables. And it comes with needle gauge, end caps, cable keys, cable connectors, needle gauge, darning needles, and various stitch markers, and a case. So, and then the warmth set, which is this one, and that also comes with sizes ranging from 3mm to 10mm, plus swivel cables, 3 swivel cables, and it comes with end caps, cable keys, cable connectors, needle gauge, darning needles, stitch markers, and a fabric case. So and then there's the Believe set. So there are various sets available with needles and other items. So if you don't want a whole set, you can just buy the ones that you want, or you can buy them separately. I'm sure they probably sell some of these cases separately as well. So they are very nice needles, and certainly if you're looking to upgrade your needles, then they are worth doing. The catalogue is really nice. It's got some really nice pictures in it, and it is lovely. But I do find the whole mindful thing a little bit cliche, but that's okay. Let me just show you what came in the set with the interchangeable cable. So in the interchangeable cable, the packaging is really nice as well, and then it comes with these end caps, which are really pretty. So if you need to take your needle tips off, so you're knitting something and you need those needle tips for another project, or you need to put that project on hold or something, you can actually screw the needle tips off and screw these end caps on, and they're really pretty, because the standard Knit Pro needle caps are just like round, boring, plasticky ones. So these are really pretty. So each cable comes with 2 end caps, and they are really pretty. I like those. And then that's the tool that you screw the needle tips on with. So you basically put the there's a little hole there, you put this needle thing into there, and then you use it as a lever to tighten it. Or if I unscrew it, you can use it to unscrew as well. So if I take that off, and then I can screw the, whoops, then I can try and screw the end cap on rather than dropping it on my floor. Okay, so it screws on like that. So it'll stop your stitches from sliding off the end if you have to put them on hold. Okay, I screwed mine on a little bit wonky, so let's just hope I can get it off. So yeah, I really like these needles, and the other accessories that it comes with are also really, really nice. Let me just screw the needle tip back on so I don't lose any of this. Okay, so you just put that tighten it as much as you can, and then you put this tool into there, and then you use it as a lever to push against. You don't screw it or anything, you just hold it like that, and then you push against it so you can tighten it really tightly. So yeah, I do like these. Each cable comes with one of these end cap and screw cable key is what it's called. So they are very, very nice. They are nylon coated stainless steel cable for no twist, glide and snag free connection. That's what it says on the packaging. So yeah, I really like the cables. They're very nice. I like the row counter, it's very nice. So it is a few days after I filmed this review, and I suddenly this morning I read a comment on my higher circular needle review, which went live yesterday, and there was a comment there that made me realise that I don't think I mentioned that the circular needles I got from the Mindful collection are the lace tips. So they do the lace tips, I believe, both in the interchangeable ones and the fixed circular ones, and they are a bit pointier, I guess. So the ones I got, the ones I've tried, are the lace tips. I also found one of my Zing circular needles, so I thought I would actually compare the tips. I don't know how easy it is to see this. Okay, don't look at my nails are bad. I don't know how easy it is to see it, but these are the same size. They're both 4mm, and the Mindful collection lace tips are much pointier than the Zings. But I did forget to mention that. I have actually used the circular needles a few more times now, especially the interchangeable ones, because I do prefer the interchangeable ones. I've used these fixed ones a bit as well, but the thicker cable on the fixed ones I don't really like. I've been using them mainly to knit some stuff on Magic Loop, and the more flexible cables of the interchangeable ones are much more comfortable. And that is one of the things I don't like about the Chow Goose, especially when I do Magic Loop, is the fact that the cables are quite stiff. So I do really like the interchangeable ones with the more flexible cables. But I did want to pop back on and say that the ones I tried are the lace tips. They also come in a choice of different lengths for the needle tips. So I chose the longest ones, which I believe are 13 centimeters, I think. Hang on. Let's see if I can get a ruler out and measure them. Hang on. Yes, they're about, okay, this one doesn't actually go to 30. Yeah, they're about, this one goes to 12 centimeters and they're longer, so they're 13 centimeters. I believe they do shorter ones as well. I like longer needle tips because I have quite big hands, so I feel I get a better grip on them, because the way I hold my needles when I knit, I hold both hands like that. So I like, you can see the needle comes right to the end of my hand, so I do like longer needle tips. But they do a choice of needle tips as well. So obviously your Knit Pro stockists may not stock all of them, but if they're stocking Knit Pro, they should be able to get in what you need. So if they haven't got exactly what you want, ask them if they can order it in for you, and they might be willing to do that. Depends on how much they get charged for shipping and that kind of thing, but they might be willing to order it in for you on their next order. So just want to pop back on and add on that these are the lace tips that I tried, both in the interchangeable ones and the fixed ones, and they're the longer needle tip length. So generally speaking, for lace knitting, a lot of people recommend the pointier tips, which is why these are called lace tips, I guess, because they're a bit pointier. But if you're into brioche knitting with increases and decreases rather than just the basic brioche rib, but once you start doing increases, or specifically decreases really, in brioche knitting, brioche works in pairs of 2 stitches, so you always have to work in pairs of 2. So when you decrease in brioche, you always have to do at least a double decrease. You have to decrease at least 2 stitches, or 4 or 6. I haven't done 6 yet, but normally 4 stitches or 2 stitches, and that is a lot easier with a pointier needle tip. And I am about to cast on for a new brioche project next week to take on holiday with me, and I will need a 120 centimeter long cable for that. and the longest cable I bought was 80 centimeters. So I am very tempted to place another order and get some more sizes and use these needles for a few more projects, just to see what they like for knitting brioche. But I need to have a look at the prices and the shipping and see if it's worth doing it. But I just want to pop back on and tell you that these are the lace tips, and now I'll let you watch the rest of this video. The tape measure I've used a couple of times. It's very nice. It's quite heavy and it's quite big compared to just like a standard tape measure. I think I showed you that in the intro. So it is quite big and quite heavy, but it is very nice if you want like a little bit of a special tape measure. It has the branding on it, a Nipro in the middle. It's a little bit awkward to press that thing, especially if you have long nails. My nails aren't too long, but they're a little bit long. But it's probably a nice thing to give as a gift, I think. And the scissors are also very, very nice. I've used those a few times. They're not too pointy, but they do cut quite nicely. Have I got something here I can cut? So it cuts yarn just fine, which is what you want. And then if you want to put them in your knitting bag and you don't want to accidentally cut your yarn, you can just push it in like that. They're a little bit stiff, I must admit, so if you have problems with your hands, you may struggle a bit because they're a little bit stiff. But I quite like them. I haven't had any kind of folding scissors like that. I don't think they'll come undone very easily in your bag if you put them in like this. But as I said, they do feel a little bit stiff, but maybe they will get better with use. I don't know. But they would be good for like travel. They are short enough to take on an airplane, I believe. So let me just get a tape, one of those, and check. So to be able to take them on a plane in the UK, the blade has to be less than 6 centimeters, and these blades are 3 centimeters because I just looked up that last night. There we go. All the accessories come in little bags, these little cotton bags. That's the one that came with the scissors, I think, which is really pretty. And then these, but all of the different accessories and things come with little cotton bags. The needles come in bags. The only thing is the when you buy the needle tips and the cables and things, they come in this packaging. But if you buy the sets, they come in bags. So yeah, they're really nice. I want to get some of the, there are some really pretty stitch markers which were actually sold out from the distributor, but I'm planning to get those to sell at Yarndale at the end of September, and hopefully on my website after that if they're in stock. I may get some of the tape measures in, and I may get some of the row counters in because I think they're nice little gifts and little treats. I won't be stocking the needles because there's just so many options with needles, different sizes, different cable lengths. It's just my shop's not big enough to stock all that. But yes, I do like it. So basically it gets a thumbs up from me. I think it's a good alternative to the ChiaoGoo, and they're much, much cheaper, and they work with your, if you get the interchangeable set and you already have lots of Nipro needle tips, then they will work with those as well. So let me know if you've tried these needles. Do you like them? What do you think of the whole mindful branding thing? Do you like that? I mean, if you like that kind of thing, there's no judgment, but I just find it a little bit cliche, and it's obviously a marketing thing. Nipro, by the way, is a very good company. They do a lot of good for their workers. Their main catalogue has a kind of thing in the beginning telling you about how their companies run, but they basically provide there's a few pages at the beginning. I think they're based in India, I think, but they basically help provide work for local people. They provide schooling, help with schooling and education and that kind of thing. So they seem to be quite a good company. This is their main catalogue. I'm also planning to get some of these shawl pins in, hopefully, for Woolfest if they're in stock. Okay, so that's enough for this video. It's getting quite long, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the Nipro Mindful collection. If you've seen it, do you like it? Do you fancy getting it? Do you fancy trying it? Let me know. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. and I will put any links below this video. By the way, Knit Pro, I think in the US they're called Knitters Pride, so and they may be known under other names in other parts of the world. I'm not sure. So if you live in the US and you can't find Knit Pro, I think they're called Knitters Pride. So look that up instead. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.